date at 7:02. And was there any public comment, Jeanette, that we need to consider?
No, there's nobody here and nobody contacted me.
Okay, any additions to the agenda tonight?
There are none.
All right, then we need to just review the minutes from February 5th and see if there's any corrections.
Anybody needs a copy? I have copies here.
I'll put 'em.
You pull it up? Okay, great. I think Jen's here.
Yay,
Full house.
And then we just started.
Just to let you know, Nick is here. He's reporting for Channel 79.
I'm sorry.
I told him reading. He said, "What side of the table do you sit at?" And I said, "No, we talk as a group." So it's around the table.
So do we have any, give me another minute to take a look at it. Let us know if you see anything that needs to be corrected.
Arnie, could you pass it to Jen?
Okay, not hearing any corrections, then I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept the minutes from last month's meeting.
I can make a motion to accept the minutes from last week.
And a second. Thank you, Arnie. And all in favor, raise your hand.
I have to abstain. I have to abstain.
Yes, we had a few that. Okay, so we have 3 abstentions, Pat,
Pat, and
Janet,
Alex.
and Alex. And any nays? No, then the motion passes. And the next item on the agenda are operating and capital budget updates from Jeanette.
Sure, thanks. So, as you know, we presented the budget. You also all know what we requested. I watched the BOS meeting on February 21st, which pretty much rounded out what the requests were, both capital and operating. It looks, the sound quality was not good, so I listened over and over again, trying to capture it. But it looks like the $20,000 request for the renovation of the child care center rooms will not be funded in this budget. But I seem to hear, it sounded positive, it sounded like if there was any funds left over at the end of the year, that they would consider utilizing those funds. If not, they pushed it into FY26. So the child care center is not moving until May of 25. That would just be, if there was contingency funds, we would use those in May and June to get the rooms cleaned up and be moving by July 1. If they do next, February, grant the request in FY26, then we would get the funds July 1. And it seemed like it was something that they were okay with. It seems also like they are approving the renovation of the small garden out here to add the access to it. But other than that, for capital, everything stays in there. We have another request for FY26 with the matching dollars for the 5310 grant vehicle, and that they wouldn't have looked at this year. And then we did not get the full-time assistant here down in the center as we so desperately need. And so that was disappointing. But we'll come back at it next year and we'll ask again. The need is real. We all know how much the center does and how much the director does, and it is disappointing, and yet we understand that there's only so many dollars in the pie. So we'll come back at it next year. Yes, disappointing.
It is disappointing, especially in light of the numbers we're gonna see, the increase in participation.
Right. Okay, so that is that. I wrote in my report, and you'll see that, they've turned it over now to the Board of Finance, who will make further cuts in the budget to moderate the increase that the taxpayers will be feeling this year. And hopefully we won't sustain any more. but that we would appreciate your advocacy at the April 25th preliminary budget hearing to come out and speak about that full-time position and the need for it. I think they listen to residents, and far too often they don't hear from the seniors because they don't come to night meetings and because they're not prone to advocate for themselves. They are, the silent generation, or they are, willing to take what they are given. And so let's hope that we can have you guys advocate on their behalf.
I'll be there.
Put it on your calendars.
What time should that be?
It's generally 7:30, but I'll give you that information as soon as I get it. It's never been on a Thursday in my memory, and they've moved it from a Monday to a Thursday, so I don't know if they're changing the time as well, but I'll get you that when it is available. So that's it about that. We can move on.
Move on to the Woodbridge Center report that I think came in a separate email.
The numbers came in, the statistics came in
Yes.
separate. The
Separate,
narrative came in
piece of information.
So on February 8th, we had our Mardi Tynes celebration, in which we celebrated Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day. There was 51 people in attendance, and it was just a really awesome event. There was Sean Taylor provided the music, and by the end of the luncheon, everybody was involved, and they were swaying their arms back and forth and singing and dancing, and it was a really wonderful event. On February 15th, we had the first of the monthly pizza and root beer lunches with cake provided by Hampton Rehab to celebrate the February birthdays. And we had a great turnout of the pizza, the first pizza, with 33 people attending that. On February 21st, we had a lunch and learn with Becca Green Harrison on heart healthy living. And that we had 15 people in attendance, so we're getting really good numbers in what we're offering. On February 22nd, we celebrated the Chinese New Year during lunch with a Chinese themed menu, and then that was followed by a live interactive virtual tour of the Lunar New Year that was provided by the National Museum of Asian Art. And this was really interesting, and people found it different and interesting, and learned a lot during the event. And there was 51 people that attended that. And then at the end of the month, we wrapped it up with, on February 27th, Hampton Rehab gave a workshop on the techniques of watercolor painting. And there were 17 people that attended that, and it was a lot of fun. And people learned a lot, and Deb is great in providing the workshop. She makes it fun, and just so people can use their creativity and really enjoy and socialize while doing so. In March, the coffee bar will be sponsored by Woodbridge residents Nina Goodless Sanchez and Harry Sanchez. And on March 14th, we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a traditional lunch, a corned beef and cabbage, and that will be fully sponsored by Whitney Rehab, Opal Stork, and Coachman Square. And there will be music provided by Larry Batter, with a surprise treat provided by the Holly Chambron team. And the popularity of the event is very evident, as we are almost full, and we had 2 of our clients that signed up from Antarctica.
Oh my goodness.
So that's a first. Very cool.
Very cool, right? Actually cool, but yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. And then for lunch brunch this month, they will be going to Wild Kanji and Hibachi in Shelton. And this trip's already full with a waiting list, so we're contemplating having a second vehicle go.
It's great.
On March 19th, we will begin bingo at the center and offer it every Tuesday for those over the age of 60, with cash prizes depending on how many cards we sell. there's a big process to bingo, which I didn't know. It's a very big, there's applications and licenses and everything, and so to offer it, we have to limit it to those over 60. There's an actual age requirement to be able to offer it through an application. On March 21st, Camden Rehab will provide a immersive Brazilian virtual tour, and Deb will be bringing authentic, and I'm going to probably mispronounce this, but Brigadeiro and Pão de Queijo, which is Brazilian cheese puff, to join the tour. Then on March 28th, we will have a lunch and learn with Hartford Healthcare Cancer Institute, giving a presentation on how to keep skin healthy and be aware of cancer. And then there will be that'll be followed by a skincare bingo game, and lunch will be provided by the Farmers Insurance Karen Bellamy Agency, which is really nice of her. And then just
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are the prizes for the skin bingo, is it like sunblock? Okay.
Probably.
but that
Love to come.
And Christy, you're offering an art program for driving?
Right.
That could, I noticed that because I signed up for that.
Right, so we offer the ARP driving program fairly regularly, like every other month, so that'll be offered in March also. And then for the lunch and meal delivery update, last month I reported that we were facing a very steep increase on the pricing. We've done a lot of exploration and research and trying to provide the good quality food or good tasting food with reasonable prices. So we restructured the lunch program. So Tuesday's lunches will now be a choice of a 6-inch deli sub with a side and dessert, and maintaining the previous price of $5 for residents and $6 for non-residents. On Thursdays, we will offer a monthly holiday or themed celebration that will have a sponsor, hopefully to offset the cost. And we will have Zuccardi's Pizza and root beer lunch. We'll have that once a month, and then we'll have a sponsored lunch and learn also once a month. So we're trying to balance the cost and still make it reasonable for our members. And then as far as the frozen meal delivery program, we're implementing a 2-part incremental price increase to try to balance it. The first increase occurred on March 1st, and that'll go from $5.25 to, which it is, well, it was, and now it'll go to $6.50. And then beginning in April 1st, it will be increased to $8. And soups will increase from $1.50, to $2 beginning March 1st and stay at $2. And then for transportation, BM-167 is the van that had that got hit on the way out, and we've been trying to have it repaired for quite a while. So the third repair estimate was completed by Fernandez Auto Works and a provided insurance carrier, so now we're in the process of scheduling the repair. Van 436 was the one that was having the electrical issues with the backup camera and some other electrical issues. So it was recommended by our mechanic to have the disconnect switch for the battery to be installed. We got the estimate back from Fernandez Auto Works on that, and that was $1,148.58. So the town mechanic agreed to install it. He was really busy. I don't know if he was going to be able to fit it in, so we were seeking another estimate, but today it looks like he ordered it, so it looks like it'll go forward through the town. And then car 41, the 2008 Crown Victoria, has been removed from the center's fleet. It had a recent gas leak, and that, along with an oil leak and a whole host of other problems, it just couldn't really be repaired any further.
Not within our budget,
So
while maintaining other vehicles.
And it came to us at a very high mileage, so it was nice to have 2 vehicles most of the time when we had it, but unfortunately now we're back down to 1 car and the 2 vans, which the 2 vans are struggling. So hopefully we'll get them going. And then lastly, for staffing, the new transportation driver, Karen Perone, has all of her endorsements in place, and she started providing transportation independently. Unfortunately, she's out for a couple weeks because she had an injury, which wasn't work related, but so she'll be back soon. And then I just want to point out on the stats, when you're looking at them, and for the in-person lunch, it looks like it went down from January to February, or it's lower in December. Just the holiday or theme lunch is teased out, so that's why it looks that way, just when you're looking at it. And that's about it.
Yeah, the numbers are really strong. Well done.
I'm just curious, have we gotten any pushback on the increase in lunch prices?
There was some were disappointed, understandably. It's a change, and there's a group that's used to coming here for probably decades, and so they were disappointed, but well they
So
keep
you-
coming, and then they keep coming, but they understand that it has to change, and we're
Yeah.
trying to work with them in the prices, and so we'll have to see how it goes forward.
I was just gonna, were you asking about the in-person meal or the frozen home delivery
I
meals?
guess I was asking sort of about both, but I didn't really differentiate.
So I was speaking about the in-person meal, the frozen meals. Nobody has said anything about them. There's been 1 or 2 comments, but not, nobody has said they want to order anymore, so we're kind of waiting to see now because March just started.
Just started.
Yeah.
And the prices for the in-person meals doubled, is that right?
Right, so we
Yes.
were, and the frozen meals, we were being charged $5.25, and then, over the next few months, it'll go up to $10.
So, right, and so that,
Plus the
that's very
delivery.
creative, what you've been trying to do is to minimize that impact, because, if someone gets hit with a double
Right.
price, you might lose the audience, so you're trying to scaffold a little.
Yeah, and we just wouldn't do that to people on fixed incomes.
Mhm.
It just doesn't seem appropriate, so Christy was incredibly creative to try and find alternative ways to deliver and keep providing the services and yet not make it too hard to bite the billet and pay a little bit more incrementally. And even the lunches are the same per price eating in. It's just the frozen delivery meals. And we're still delivering them at no charge, so we're not adding a fee for the delivery. It's just the meals themselves have gone up.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I need a motion to accept the senior center,
I'll
the
make a
central
motion.
report.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Yeah.
center report.
Janet seconds. And all in favor? Motion passed. I don't see any nays.
Pat? Pat, are you there?
Aye.
Turn the sound down, because there was some
Yeah, there's a little back
noise, but I would turn him up a little bit more.
Hey, Nancy, youth services, please.
We had a Valentine's Sweet Treats party on February 2nd. We had 9 students there. It was at the Amity Middle School balcony. And we had a local baker, Kim Mahern. She made some cupcakes and we bought cookies, and so she taught the kids how to decorate the tops of those. They did a nice job. We bought, tips and different colored frosting, and the kids really seemed to enjoy it. They seem to really like the decorating. I guess it's, the tasting as they go, but we also provided some saltier snacks so we could offset the sweet. But they do enjoy that.
All the food groups.
Absolutely. We are planning a spring paint party and after-school program again at the middle school on April 5th. We're hoping to have Picasso parties come in again, so we've reached out to them. Fee would be $15, and get that information out. We are planning a spring kickoff party, so at the PTSO meeting at the middle school, we were asked to work with the PTSO to do something with them. And so, there's a little delay in trying to, work with some people, but we finally did make some plans. So we planned it for March 22nd. We'll have some music, dancing, pizza, and a photo booth, and some raffle prizes. So we'll seek some donations. We're in need of volunteers because it's an after-school program, which we have a teacher at the school who just keeps telling us how great it would be to have kids stay after school and have a nice party, which is wonderful. It's just that unless the staff stays, it's hard for us to get the parents because so many parents are working. So we will provide 4 out of 6 of our staff members because the others do work full-time. And we're hoping that, they give the staff a little nudge to stay, and we'll be after parents to help as well. So anyone interested, let me know. We are also planning a spring evening party on May 10th at the middle school as well. So we will have Big Daddy's racetrack, which is always fun. And we're planning it outdoors, which is great because as long as the weather holds, Big Daddy brings in, rolls in this big truck and opens up the sides and everything's lit up, and it's just a really cool racetrack, and the kids just love it. There's always a line for kids to get in there and play that. And we'll still have games and pizza as well. The fee will be $10 for that. So that should be really fun. We're hoping for outdoors behind the school. If it rains, then we go into the gym. But then we have to book gym and cafeteria because we can't have food in the gym. So then we find more kids like running back and forth. It's hard to be, cohesive group when you have 2 rooms. Which is why I asked, for the after-school party, I asked to limit it to 2 rooms because people had great ideas to have this in this room and this in that room. I said, you won't have enough volunteers. We really do need to contain it a little bit, so I'm just hoping for those 2 rooms at this point. And karaoke was supposed to be in another room, but if we can move it into the cafeteria, I think it'd be nice to have karaoke and the food, which is what we did years ago. BODAC, which is Bethany Orange Woodbridge Drug and Alcohol Action Committee. We did talk about the survey that was done. Each year they do a survey of 7th, 9th, and 11th graders. So that has been presented to the Board of Education at Amity. They did decide to run a billboard contest for art to be placed on a billboard on Route 34 about prevention. So that information went out. I don't know how many people applied, but it's really about drug abuse, vaping, or alcohol prevention. So I'm hoping some kids stepped up and got creative. After school guided study program has already started. We'll be beginning the 3rd week next week. Right now there are 36 kids signed up, which is a little higher than last year, and they still are waiting for some permission forms, so there may be more than that. There are 8 tutors. 4 of them are really just working on the 6th graders to prep them for middle school. So it's a great program, and we want to see it continue. That uses the enhancement grant monies from the state, and we give total amounts of each road school for this program.
I forget, Nancy, what ages or grades is that?
So it's usually between 4th and 6th grade, so they usually go and they look at which kids attended the year before and reach out to those families first, and anyone else who's recommended. But we do want to get the kids ready for middle school. For Selectmen's Youth Award, which I didn't, I don't think I mentioned it in your report, but I should mention that nomination forms were distributed. I don't know if you have all received them. Hopefully you did. Have extras if you need them. And we are looking for the nominations to be made by the 8th of April. So we should shoot it out again, and it's in the press. I'll try to shoot it to like the PTSOs because they do reach the parents on Facebook as well, and it'll be on our Facebook. Program plans. I reached out to a person. Her name's Michelle Tugade. She's written a book and is well versed in anxiety and resilience, and this is what I keep hearing that the schools need help with. So we reached out to her. She happened to be on a sabbatical in Iceland, and so I wasn't hearing back from her. So finally we heard back, and we're going to try to work out a fee and see if we can do maybe a virtual thing for parents at night. I'd love to have her here, but she, she teaches at Vassar, so I don't know if she'd be available to actually do it in person, maybe to come in and talk to kids. But it seems like we need the information for parents at all three schools. This is what I hear over and over again, just lack of resilience, and kids are anxious, and, fortunately, truancy is often caused by the anxiety as well. Red Cross babysitting, I scheduled with Adam Laws, who's our instructor, so we just have to pick 2 dates during the week of spring break, which is April 15th through the 19th. We usually try to do 2 mornings because it's dry information and it's long to just have kids there at this age, because they're mostly middle school kids who sign up. We get a few 14 and 15-year-olds, but to have those kids sit all day, it makes it a long day for everyone. The Rotary is having a family game night on April 10th, so they asked Human Services to be involved, so I pulled out some boxes of games so we can provide some games, and we'll provide the jugs, lemonade, water, and I think they'll be looking at buying the pizza for that evening. And we have Twister and Cornhole as well, so we try to set that up on tables. That will be here in the senior center, and it will be from 6 to 7:30. They said they do have some teenage volunteers or teenagers who work with them, and if not, I'll reach out to some of our student volunteers as well about that night.
That's quite a list of activities, yes, thank you. Thank you. Need a motion to accept the youth services report, Alex and Jen. The second, and all in favor? Looks like it's a unanimous pass, thank you all. We can go on to the human services report tonight.
Sure, hi. So, all you social workers in the room, I know there's quite a few of you. Happy National Social Worker Month. We very much appreciate all of you and your assistance
I
here.
know 2 official, am I missing anybody? 2. Congratulations.
I am.
Yes, you are.
2, 3. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Great. And you're a public health official, which is really cool. And a school psychologist, yes. And another psychologist, oh my God. So sorry. So we have a lot of people in the field. And we really want to just commend Judy Young, who does a phenomenal job.
Yes.
Without Judy, the residents in this town, really would have no advocacy. She is amazing at what she does, and every day she is helping families through crisis and through needs, and keep getting them to level out in many ways. And she helps people with planning and so much. And she's really incredible. So we just want to give her some kudos at this meeting because she deserves it. And doesn't really take recognition very well, so we can't do it to her face.
Well, maybe in the future, the commission will look at how to recognize her.
And I think we shall. And in fact, I would prepare yourselves for next month, where I bring up something about recognizing her. Thanks. Center building gym renovation. A construction company was chosen, Pelletier Construction. They seem to like him very well. Both Silva Petroselli and Amity High School has worked with him before and said all good things. He has set a timeline so that the project will be completed in October at the latest, so that the federal election will be in the gym and be able to go through smoothly. He also has said that he will, do all the ordering of all the long-term supplies so that the length of time the gym is occupied with the construction will be reduced. So we're hopeful that we maintain use of the gym for a while now until such time that he's ready to start with all of the products ordered and So we can turn, 5 months into 3, or, and I'm just, that's not, actual. That's the hope. The Center Building Renovation Committee continues to meet. I did tell you that there was a project cost at approximately 41 million. It's around 39 million at this point, but with every year it delays, we're talking about, approximately 5% inflation on those costs. It does not look like it will move ahead. Just to say that I don't think it will. It's a lot of money to borrow, and I don't think that there's support for it at Town Hall at this time. So we'll await the presentation later this month by the committee chair, Dwight Rowland, to the Board of Selectmen, and see the response then. But there was a suggestion at the last meeting to at least go forward with changing the phases. The original phases were to do parts of the building and move departments into other areas, and to, do the childcare wing, and then move human services into childcare, and then do human services, and then once human services was done, they could move the police into human services area, and then do police. And, obviously we need to keep town services, in action. But then there was a suggestion at the last meeting that those phases be set aside and just do the phase of the building envelope, so that it is no longer, leaking, and that it's, windows and roof are better able to sustain these, New England winters and extreme climate issues, and also modernize and become more sustainable. But even that, I'm not sure where they're gonna go. We'll wait for the next meeting, and I'll come back to you. But I think my hope is that if the project's not gonna go further, my hope is that I can stop going to those meetings. Because we've spent a lot of time, staff hours, on making these plans, and if we're not gonna move the project forward, then perhaps we can put it on hold for all of us and save some, work hours when we're all so busy. Next item is, are there any questions about that? VITA, our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, is well underway, and it is, we've had, I think tomorrow will be our 4th week. We've already accomplished, I say, but it's really the VITA tax volunteers have already accomplished 60 returns, and couples, individuals, seniors, English as a second language, lots of different folks coming in. The hallway is quite full on Tuesdays, as it will be tomorrow. We still have appointments available, and we're really, I think Ellen does an incredible job getting it all organized and keeping the volunteers happy while they're there. She generally buys them sweets. And then Nancy mentioned the family game night hosted by the Rotary Club. We met with them last year already, and they said they'd like to continue doing some programs with us. We do a couple of programs in the fall. We do the Thanksgiving baskets with them, and they also fully sponsor the holiday luncheon for the Woodbridge Center, which is fantastic, but we never were doing anything the rest of the year. So we talked about potentially another time of the year, and we got together last week and planned the family game night, which is, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get the word out about it. The real trouble is promoting things these days without a Woodbridge Town News or a newsletter. It's very difficult for folks who aren't getting the e-blasts. Christie sends out one, and the town now sends out theirs in 2 different distributions. And the Woodbridgetown News has an online presence, but it's still, it's difficult. People are still calling us and saying they're not getting their newspaper, you know, and for a certain generation, that's really important. And I know as a busy mom, when you know, if I had something I could put on the fridge, it stayed in the forefront of my mind, you know, rather than, oh yeah, that was today, or that was yesterday, even worse. So we really have to be able to get the PTO and the schools to send some stuff home, and the library will post, and we'll put it on all the Facebook that we can, and try and get a good attendance. And I just wanted to say the Stop and Shop Blooming for Good program, which I've mentioned before, that we came by quite accidentally. They chose us as a donation location for raising money through flower sales. We've gotten another check from them, $59 for the Resident Assistance Fund, which is great. And we'll find out what February, which is a good month for buying flowers, brings us in the next check. And just a couple more things. We did do a Wear Red for Heart Health Day with Town Hall. We organized that over here, and we're able to raise a couple $100 for the American Heart Association and bring a little bit more attention to women's heart health. And so that was sort of fun, and good publicity for American Heart Association. We are planning a Narcan training for the 13th of March for the Registrar of Voters office. Apparently there is a national threat in absentee ballots to be sending fentanyl in along with your vote, which is, you know, just a crazy thing to have to worry about when you're trying to run an election. And Chief Capiello and I talked about it, and better to be safe than sorry. So QVHD is supplying some Narcan for the registrars and for the town clerk's office. And I've organized a training for next week, and we'll get some town hall employees. And the recreation department also has a few of their basketball coaches who need to be trained, you know, especially, you know, we can get some Narcan kids, naloxone kids, in their first aid kits, and have that present. It's a good idea to have it on hand. And the CDC guidelines have changed, I'm sure you're all aware. And so the CDC now is suggesting a new booster for those 65 plus to get a spring booster, and to get one. Basically, you can have one if you've had one just 4 months ago. So they're sort of suggesting that seniors do that. So I talked today to COVID booster. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll stick with the flu in the fall and RSV in the fall, and the pneumovax we've given out as well, and we've even given the shingles. But right now, just the COVID. I spoke with Valley Pharmacy today, and we're setting up a date or two. And again, the problem will be reaching the seniors and making sure that cohort gets the information. I may start by calling everyone who's come before to get their vaccine last fall, and just say, you know, did you know, do you want to talk to your doctor and find out if you are interested in this, just so we can get the word out that they can have another vaccine. And the good news is, I feel really happy about this. We submitted our ARPA grant this morning, this afternoon, and that ARPA grant is just money that was designated federally to Connecticut for senior centers. Approximately $10 million came to the state of Connecticut. The state took $1 million for education purposes and is giving $9 million to the senior centers. Our share was $30,939. We're relatively small. The city's got more, and Christy and I worked really hard to apply for a vehicle for our transportation program. The grant is specifically about COVID and its effects, and those effects including isolation, depression, lack of access to quality food, nutrition, to medical appointments, all of those things. And so we felt strongly about the delivery system for the in-home meal program and the transportation system. And so wrote a grant, and woohoo, wish us luck. I literally did a woot in my office when I hit send.
Did they give you any idea when you were here?
Well, so, we've had a few months of hearing that other communities were granted theirs, and the woman who coordinates this, Claire Cody, for the state, she said at first they were getting a lot of applications, and then they were less, and so now they're looking at them one at a time, and so hopefully they didn't get any other submissions this week, and they'll look at ours, and we'll know soon. I'll let you know as soon as I hear. And then I just wanted to let you know, Nancy alluded to the volunteer appreciation event. You are all our very best volunteers, and we appreciate you. We will have that event on May 15th, and the First Selectmen's Youth Award will be given out that day. Mika has already said that he would attend, and we're looking forward to it. We're going to do it down here so we don't have to worry about weather-related issues. Are there any questions?
Can you repeat the date?
May 15th, 3 o'clock.
Just a question occurred to me, sort of tangential, but, with the stopping of the paper publication of Woodbridge News, it's really hard to get stuff out publicized. And I'm sure a lot of members, people who participate here aren't necessarily online a lot, like Facebook or things like that. But I'm wondering if people have email, if we could do some sort of weekly listserv kind of thing.
So-
Email blast to people what's coming on.
Yes, absolutely. Christy has 400 people, I think I read in your report.
No, over 400 now.
Over 400 in her listserv, and
Wow.
she does not like to inundate them, so don't ask her after she's already sent it to send more. But
Once a week.
yeah, I know you were. She sends it once a month right now,
Okay.
but we may work on trying to do something like a supplemental information mid-month if more gets planned. And
Yeah,
And,
no,
you know,
that would be great. I have to be honest, I mean, it's a great idea, and we certainly can try to do it more often, especially with things that aren't typical or regular things. It's hard to fit more into, there's the email blast, there's the town news, there's the newsletter,
Yeah.
there's and it's Katie and me, and it just, I used to work hard, but Katie works really, really hard, and,
I'm not trying to give you more work.
No, I understand. It's a
trying
great
to-
idea because
which is
it's
why I
advertised.
step lightly on that one.
To advertise what we're doing makes
Yeah.
perfect sense, because if you can get more people to come to what we're already doing, it's,
Yeah.
it's a great idea. It's just trying to balance and, fit in what we can when we can, so, we'll keep it in mind, and hopefully we can make it work.
Well, I'm sure that was one very small piece of the need to increase the support staff in
Yeah.
the center.
Yeah.
But it's a critical piece, but they're already very overworked, and it just shows the need to have more support.
Does? Right.
That's a good point.
Any other questions for Human Services? Can we have a motion to accept Jeanette's report? Okay, well, I saw Jen because my face was right there, and then Alex is seconding, and all in favor? And it's unanimous. We'll move it forward. Any old business? New business?
Just meeting.
Okay, and I guess for new business, I'm just gonna put another plug for putting the April 25th budget hearing, the preliminary budget hearing, in your calendars. Jeanette will tell us exactly the time, but I think it's important, you know, as much as everyone can, when, you know, to be there to support. You know, we already know that we're not getting everything we've asked for, but to hold on to some of these pieces are important. I think that our numbers will be helpful. Okay, any other comments? Otherwise, I'll call for a motion to adjourn, and it is 7:47, we're very
Whoa.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Okay, thank you, Vivian.
Second that.
Very good, and it's moved by acclamation.
Thank you.